My ramen pants.
Don't brutalize my plant.
It loves me.
Brutalized it with her booty. Okay.
Welcome back.
Lion face. Lemon face. Ooh.
All right. What episode number are we on? Talking Bears.
Welcome back to Talking Bears. We are on episode 3, and we are going to deep dive on episode 174 of Two Bears, One Cave.
Nice. And who was our guest today?
We're a little behind.
They had a special bear today, huh?
I think this is the first time that I've not heard neither Tom nor Bert riff on the other one as to why they're absent. Tom just got right into it with Ryan Holiday. And just seemed really stoked that he was on the podcast.
You could tell he was a big fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee this is one of the ones where Tom was. I think his production company runs a show, but this is just one of the ones like, ooh, this one's mine. I want this one. You could tell he was a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this guy's way of thinking, or all the stuff that he puts out on his Instagram, maybe that kind of helped Tom change into from his basketball incident to now, like how they talk about him surfing, which he never would have done and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure Tom was a big fan of this. How do you pronounce his last name? Holiday or Halliday?
I thought it was Holiday.
Is it Holiday? Ryan Holiday?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, I did not know him. I think that Instagram page has popped up on like my stuff before the Stoic. Is it the
Daily Stoic?
Yeah. Did you follow it today?
I followed like 3 of his pages
today. Did you? Okay. I ended up following
Daily Philosophy, Daily Stoic. I think I was hopping around Daily Dad. I'm impressed. He puts out really good content.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I am curious about. We'll get into the episode. When do you want to do? You did something interesting with the YMH Studios.
We have a little unboxing to do.
Yeah, because what did they do? What was the promotion? You got it in an email and you're like, oh, should we do this?
Yes, it was a roll the dice sale with the funniest wording ever. Just seemed like Tom had written it himself about, good news for the pores.
Good news for the fat pores. What does it mean, roll the dice?
You have no idea which YMH Studios production you're going to get merch from. It could be any kind of merch. You got to pick between t-shirt, outerwear, or swag, or hat.
So there's like 4 options, and the prices went from like 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
And it's just random too, right?
Completely random. Could be
I'm kind of curious to see what we got.
I know. I'm really excited about it.
What did you do? You did, well, I guess we'll see when you open it.
Yeah, I did a couple of things for each of us. I hope that we get stocked up with some swag to put in our little room here. A lot.
And you can't help yourself.
It just means stuff we all get, and that doesn't mean anything. It's not special.
I thought it was sisters, wives, and girlfriends. No.
I think it's just wags. I think they leave the sisters out because that's inappropriate.
All right, and you're acting like you act on Christmas morning with the opening of the. You're so slow.
Just slow rolling it.
Slow roll.
Oh, I feel like I'm not gonna have enough room to spread it out. Oh yes, I already see an "I'm Coming Everywhere" World Tour hat.
Nice.
This is so awesome.
All right, let's do this quick. What did we get?
Okay, an "I'm Coming Everywhere" World Tour. Not commemorative coin, not a ball marker. What would you say this is?
It could just, I don't know.
It's awesome.
Cool.
That's a great shot of Tom. Nicely engraved. "I'm Coming Everywhere" World Tour hat.
I'm gonna wear that golfing.
That's awesome. I feel like I should wear this hat.
We should send one to a fan.
Yes, that's a great idea. There's way more Tom merch than what I was anticipating.
It is YMH Studios.
World Tour beanie. I just thought right off the bat, I was thinking like Dr. Drew After Dark.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes, Christina P. tote bag.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to put my library books in this.
What is this? Oh, it just says Christina P?
Yeah, it's just her face. Iconic red lips.
That is cool.
Kind of like an 80s like design to it. That's really, really good. Oh, yes. Bikes. Let's go.
I'll let you have those. I get that beer koozie.
Come fizz with me with the pot leaves from his mom.
Yes.
In the conversation on the back beer koozie.
What did
you have a whole bunch of beer koozies?
Yeah, I bought about 5 and I gave like 5 away to people, my friends. It was something about your God, what does it say? Your problems are making my dick soft right now.
And I'm trying to stay hard out here.
Yeah. That is my favorite beer koozie ever.
Man, there's so much I'm coming everywhere merch. Another tote bag.
Nice.
Yes. You can have this one. You should carry your lunch in this.
Bring it to work. What's this one?
Santa is a cool guy.
Let me see.
Oh, that's for life, full throttle. Oh, women should clean unprompted.
I love it.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool. I think this one is for me.
That's like that would fall under the outerwear or coat category.
Yes, Garth Brooks. There's so many good details. There's a rotten molar. The guitar signed Garth Brooks. There's so much happening. I don't even know. I want to say that's like a jug of Kool-Aid. I don't know. Mr. Sex like a wrap it up. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. This is such a score. I'm the main mommy.
Oh, nice.
That's really good. That's going to fit perfectly.
You're going to wear that to the Cub Scout meetings?
Yes, I will.
You wear that, they'll all graduate to Boy Scouts.
Gosh. Cubs just became boys. Yeah. Oh, that's a really good crop t-shirt too.
Nice. Man, you're getting all kinds of t-shirts to wear.
I know.
Just give me a Two Bears Racing shirt.
All right. We're getting to the XL, baby. Yes. Breakable.
That is great.
That's really good. I've never seen that design before. That's hilarious. I feel like you will wear that.
Yes. We got to roll the dice again. This is cool.
I know. I hope they do this
again. Do you think they still have it?
I think they still have a little bit. This is legit. Yep. This is you as well.
Nice.
Just a solid YMH. That's going to look good. You don't wear a lot of weight and you look handsome in it.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. I think you got a hoodie. Boo. You got a hoodie. Ah.
What does it say?
It's Tom. It's a Tom hoodie. It's really, really soft. You're going to be stoked on this.
Sweet. That was a good score.
So satisfying.
It wasn't that expensive either.
No,
right?
It wasn't.
What was it total?
I feel like it was
under $100, right? For all that?
Well under 100. I think we spent
you can't go to a merch shop anywhere.
$65, $70.
That's cool.
I know.
It kind of goes in. The reason I was like, do it, because it kind of fits into my gambling thing. I like, you ever seen that episode of Family Guy where Peter can get a boat or what's in the mystery box? And he's like, but it could be a boat. That's me. That's totally me.
You. You do love to gamble.
That's great. Oh, sweet. Well, I'm glad we did that. All right, back to the episode now.
Yes.
So I was curious. When we met Bert for the second time, we were talking about a podcast, or I brought up a podcast that he recently did with some people, and I told him how much I liked it, and he was like, yeah, no, I did too, but he says, but that one didn't do too well.
Yeah.
And it reminded me that like these guys actually, just like you with your content, they care about their numbers, and they're like, they're micro focused on one episode. And I'm like thinking like, man, I figured, he just wouldn't even know what the numbers did. I just figured he pumped it out, his team took care of it or whatever. But but I found the show he did so interesting, and it like baffled me that when he said the numbers were low. So I'm wondering with an episode like this where it's very, he's talking about an old ancient philosophy, how well it does in the numbers. I guess we can check YouTube, you know what I mean? See what because Quentin Tarantino's episode was like immediately, like it seemed like it was almost 1 million views in a day.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious how this does, and because I really enjoyed it. Did you?
I really did too. It almost took me to almost reminded me of what I love about podcasts, where you can have something that's interesting and then go as deep as you like. I thought Tom was really good. I thought he, performed a great interview.
Yeah.
He was engaged. He was genuine. He shared things of himself.
He was more interested in this than he was when Bert was talking about you.
Cut me deep.
Yeah.
Cut me real deep.
It was cool. He was he was into it, which made it like even more fun to listen to. I have to admit, like the word stoic or stoicism, I didn't know. Like I always thought that just meant like you're being low key, chill. Oh man, he's being stoic over there. I did not know it was a philosophy or a type of way of living or anything like that. So I'll admit it. Today I just learned that.
I love it. You learned some real shit today, man.
I did, man. It was deep. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I get, I was around a bunch of people today. I'm like, did you guys know what stoicism is? All of a sudden I'm like, yeah. Because he started talking about the Roman emperors, right? Marcus Aurelius. When he says Marcus Aurelius, what goes through your head?
Gladiator.
Yeah, it's just my head went right to Gladiator.
Ryan Holiday said that too. He was like,
yeah. Well,
he said it was Dr. Drew who put him onto stoicism.
Yeah.
And recommended. Now I'm gonna butcher it. I practiced saying this earlier. Now I feel like ambidextrous.
Adamant. Yeah, no, he did say that. He did say,
and he was only familiar with Gladiator, so he
Marcus
went
Aurelius.
that.
But so I hear that, and I'm like, okay, I remember him from the movie and stuff like that. Yeah. But it was like really interesting. And what did you?
Oh, can I back it up?
Oh yeah, go.
It's really funny that you said that you mentioned them caring about the numbers, because that was almost the point. I think my thing's dragging. That was almost the point of the whole episode was. You shouldn't care about the numbers. You can't be ruffled by the things you can't control. You've got to be, like he was saying, when he wrote his first book, he cared 90% about where he ended up in terms of numbers and 10% about the experience. And he's tried to swap them, to where he's at least 80-20, like 80% in it for the love, 80%, oh, my job is done. I'm proud of what I accomplished. Yeah. And then 10 to 20, like, okay, I hope we're on the bestseller list again. And
you have to enjoy doing it.
Yes.
Not the final product.
There were so many good points about that. This is skipping ahead a little bit, but I loved when he said, are you afraid of death because you won't be able to do this anymore? I think that came from Marcus Aurelius.
And that's
whatever activity you're in, you can ask yourself, am I afraid of death because I won't be able to do this anymore? Kind of as a gauge of, is this a worthy activity for my time? Yeah. What are the things that I'm really going to miss when they're not there anymore?
Yeah.
It was heavy.
I have sometimes I have a tough time. Well, so I used to think like just memes online, like inspirational memes were strictly for people going through breakups and, because that's who you see on Facebook. It's usually like the divorced someone or somebody going through a breakup or somebody going through a tough time in their life. And that's all there's no pictures of anything. It's just all like, brighten your day by this, and it's just like, oh, somebody's going through trouble. That's how. So when I went on that daily stoic and I saw the memes, but I was reading them, I'm like, oh, okay, well these aren't like made up. These are actually, he's taking actual quotes from like really powerful, successful people that like when he was talking about all the emperors having so much power, and they all like work together. Like any one of them, he said any one of them could have just killed the other one. Like, or like the one that he he put it in between him and Marcus Aurelius. That guy could have just been like, oh, thanks, and then just like wiped Marcus Aurelius off the planet,
But they weren't corrupted. They proved themselves.
Yeah, which again I didn't know, and I'm like, wow, that's real cool. It makes you look up to them. So now when you find out there's those people, now you go on that Instagram page and it's different. It's the quotes and everything hit you harder. Does that make sense? Like they're like, oh, okay, well this guy actually said it. It's not just some dude behind a computer typing up a quote and being like, this will get a lot of clicks, So that type of thing I found like really, really cool and really interesting.
It seemed like Tom had been, like the Daily Stoic had been recommended to him when he was going through something, when he was going through a period
100%.
of growth like years before, and he was like, oh, it really resonated for me. And I wrote down something to ask you. Do you feel like you're more in need?
Oh, what? Go. So, do I feel?
What do you feel that anal? Is what I wrote down here.
Go.
Do you feel like you're more in need of direction, of focus, or of calming as you get older? Do you feel like you need more?
The direction?
Yeah, focus, any of that.
Oh yeah, I've needed that like usually my whole life because I bounce around, it's you sprinkle in a healthy spoonful of FOMO that I have, and I have
a little depression,
little OCD, all these self-diagnosed things. It's I'm one of the guys that lays in bed. Thank God we have like automatic and locks now and stuff like that, so I can check on my phone like, oh, did I? But yeah, before it was go downstairs. Yeah. Did I lock that door?
Obsessive
did I double
compulse
lock this? Yeah.
All
Is
over
the
it.
alarm on? Like that type of thing. So, yeah, I am learning more to be just calm and kind of just go with things, but direction's always cool. Like I told you, I like lists. You give me a list and it's like in a nice order and I can just check it off and accomplish things like throughout the day. I like that because I can look at a list and be like, it's done. I'm happy. I don't know if that goes with their philosophy of like enjoy what you're doing, but I just enjoy that list because I'm busy and my mind's not racing and things like that.
I think that feeds into it perfectly because that's what you can control, and then when you're done, everything else is out of your hands. I don't know. It just seems like maybe for you, maybe for Tom, as the years go by, you have a modicum of success or things that have calmed down, that you continue to need like something to feed your soul. Like I don't think Tom in his 20s would have been receptive to stoicism or philosophy.
No, it's an as you get older thing.
It's an as you get older.
For sure.
Thing. You need something.
Yes, you do need something. In different parts of your life need something. I have more money now than I did when I was 23, and that's not always the case with everybody. Some people make their money early, lose their money, like that type of thing. But as you get more successful in life, I think your needs change. And I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead, but they talked about it a lot. They talked about discipline and how that's like a freedom. Like I read one of the things on the Instagram thing. It was something like the last bit of freedom that nobody can ever take away from you is your mindset or how you react to something. You can't, that nobody can ever change that or take that away from you. But Tom was talking about discipline, and later on in the episode, he talked about not being a consumer for a month. Did you catch that one? And I kind of giggled at that because they did bring up, and they were very self-aware, like, hey, look, we understand that our problems are much different.
Yes, right, they were very self-aware with like, hey, this is a first world thing. I'm lucky to.
Yes. So I kind of giggled at the not being a consumer thing and having the discipline not to do it, because it's the exact opposite of the majority of the poor that he calls out. It's a lot of people like that, that are budgeting, have that discipline of of sticking by their budget and stuff like that. So it kind of reminded me of, like the rumors about Hugh Hefner, basically like he got laid so often and any girl he wanted to, that he, like towards the end of his life, maybe he was into more kinkier stuff, if that makes sense.
It was insinuated that he was watching gay porn.
Yeah, like people say that and things like that. We're not saying that.
We are not saying
people
that.
Are saying that. So he had to do that to fulfill a different part of his life, because the other part was easy, getting laid. And it's kind of like consumerism with Tom.
Yeah.
It's very easy for him because he works hard and makes a crap load of money.
He can buy all these nice clothes, anything. He says he walks in a store, sees it, he wants it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like the last bastion of control for him to be like, I'm going to wait a month and see if I actually want this nice thing.
And it makes him feel good because he's like, I just had control.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to have control the other way, because he's probably at a point where, responsibly, he could just probably spend money every day and he would never run out of it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as he's not buying yachts.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I wrote discipline as freedom a number of times because I'm like, man, that rarely is talked about. And Ryan Holiday kind of acknowledged, like, no one thinks you're free if you keep yourself to a schedule, if you are consistent with your workouts. No one thinks that's fun if you meal prep. But in reality, you free up your mind, you free up your time. You have the ability to do anything you want at that point because everything else is in control.
Did you think they were not on purpose? I don't know what would the word be, inadvertently talking about Bert?
Yes, I was going to ask you, do you think that Tom wished Bert were there for some of those conversations? Or do you think he had Bert in his mind when he was talking about someone that indulges themselves, someone that drinks even though they know they shouldn't? It seemed like it was referenced back to Bert. Yeah.
How do you think Bert would have took to this if he was in there in that interview? How do you think he would have been drawn into this stuff?
He's very self-aware and he's very curious, obviously. I think he would have been really receptive to it and called himself out on some things, but it's hard to say. Like legit interested in it? Because he gets interested in a lot of things. I think he would have been fascinated by it. It's history, it's philosophy. It's hard to say that Bert's not disciplined because he works incredibly hard. He pushes himself. He has ideas. He sees them through. But at the same time, I think... obviously, he indulges. He's the life of the party. Yeah. And I think he might have said that he has a hard time saying no to things. Yeah. Though I loved hearing them talk about the power or the freedom that you get when you have the ability to say no, when you choose to say no in a situation. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm like putting too much on Bert that he doesn't deserve, but I think some of his indulgences, it's because he has a hard time. People want to drink with the machine. People want to go out after the show with the machine. We wanted to do that. We were thrilled to go out with him. So we're part of that problem. It's hard to be disciplined when everybody wants you to party. Yeah. And he's very, very appreciative of his fans, like to the point where he gets choked up on stage when he's thanking everybody. So yeah, it would be I can imagine how difficult it is to say no to fans when you're that appreciative of fans. I think he would have like kind of took to it, and it seems like there's parts like where Bert's like, no, I got to do this, but then I kind of feel the same too. That FOMO hits you. It's like, yes, it's fun being disciplined and all like that, but if you get hit by a bus tomorrow. And like you could have went and took a private jet and partied, in San Francisco, the previous night or whatever. Like, who's to say that that's bad? Yeah. Does that make sense? Maybe you'd be sad that you made yourself get up at 5 a.m. and run like 3 miles when you could have done something else.
It seems like such a cool lifestyle, the stoicism and everything. And you could literally tell the two people talking on the mics today, Tom and Ryan, are seem like happy people right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside of their success, just happy mentally people. So how can you argue that? How can you argue like, oh, that's just baloney? Does that make sense?
No, I thought it was interesting to hear them say almost that discipline isn't what's hard. It's not having too much discipline. It's knowing when you don't need to push the issue. Like Ryan Holiday talked about going on a walk with his kids every day, and then the kids didn't want to because it was cold, and he has to weigh like, am I the person that forces my kids to do something they're not enjoying? Am I, or being a workaholic, am I able to stop doing and just be? And it sounded like that's something that Tom struggles with too, where he feels like he has to keep going all the time.
Do you think it's money driven? With maybe not them, but I mean, just with most people, do you think it's like, if you see like a comedian, if they see a world tour in front of them, and that, just like musicians, that's probably where they make most of their money. If you see that in front of you, you say a year of touring and that's $50 million. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no clue. Like how that's super hard to turn down. Yeah.
Doesn't your manager and the people around you probably say, you have to do this, because what if people don't want a world tour next year? Like, strike while the iron's hot.
And Ryan Holiday brought it up when he was talking about judging people for not doing the right thing and going for the money. Like he brought out like politics, like how dare this senator do this, know, but they're just doing it to keep their job or whatever. And he goes, bring that to the real world. There's probably so many people out there that know their bosses are cooking the books, but they're like, well, I got a paycheck coming in. It's very hard to be, what do we call it? Like the perfect human being or whatever. I think that's why it goes back to Marcus Aurelius and the other two, which I don't even try to pronounce, about how good they were and how good of people they were, and it's like something to look up to and try to lead your life by. But you also got to not, like in today's world, create somebody like to be like a god or a deity. Am I using that word right?
Excellent use.
Because with so much social media and everything, there's gonna be something that comes out, like the guy spit on a kid like 15 years ago when the kid kicked him in the shin.
Dark.
It'll be somebody will do something stupid. So like now you're just learning just like people. You can look up to them, but don't treat them like they're gods. And it'll probably be good for you later on in life.
Good for you. I love it. I think it's funny that you were saying, like, was it about the money? I think at a couple different points in the podcast they said it's really like intrinsic motivation. It's not necessarily anyone telling you have to reach this goal. It's you thinking, oh, I'd be happy if I were number one on the bestsellers list. I'll be happy if I had 1 million followers on this platform or that platform. And then they kind of reminded you several times over, the people that get to the highest of heights look around and realize there's nothing up here. There's nothing. If you're not, you are who you are at any level, essentially. You can tell yourself, I'd be so happy if I only got this. You won't be happy if you only get that. There's no chance. Nothing changes.
I 100% agree with that, because I've been the same since I was a broke, airman and to, what I do now. So it's, I used to, so back in the day, I don't know if you can still do this, because I've never been down to this level before, like on my debit card. But when I was in the military, I was. So you used to be able to swipe your card at a gas station, and if it even had 1 cent in positive in your account, it would approve. It would approve you to pump your gas, and it didn't just keep you at 1 cent. You could just pump a full thing of gas, and then your bank account goes into the negative. And I used to do that because we used to get paid, at the on the 1st and 15th, and so on the 14th or the 13th, I'd have like 50 cents left in my account, I'd swipe my card and put $30 into my car. And then I had 2 days of like, all right, just don't run out of gas or anything because I had no more money. But I was as happy as a clam.
Yeah.
Are clams happy? Is that the same?
Yeah.
Clams happy?
I
They
think
smile.
they say that clams aren't happy.
Oh, really? I thought that was the I'm happy as a clam. I thought that was a Ted Lassoism or something. But man, I was happy back then.
Yeah.
Actually, I had less
You were
anxiety.
happier.
No, I wouldn't say I was happier. I just,
You had less on your
I had
shoulders.
less on my shoulders. I had to keep kids alive. I had to make sure my beautiful wife was happy, like, which is easy to do. So yeah, that I'm 100% with him on that. Do you agree with that? I mean, have you been?
Oh yeah, and it's dumb for me to even talk about because I don't think my accomplishments are anything that anyone would be like, oh yes, I wish I had that. It's just silly. But I've told myself multiple times, yeah, if I only get to 100,000 on this, I'll just be happy. I'll stop worrying about it. If I get to this dollar amount that I've made, I'll be happy.
But now you're not, because you were just your
but
Instagram.
You
have one Instagram at 109,000, and it was at 14,000 like 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah, it grew so fast.
It grew fast.
And today I was like, it's not growing anymore. Yeah. I don't care.
I don't care about that account. I don't care. Yeah,
it's so true. I've basically lied to myself over and over in my content career and been like, at this dollar mark, at this number of fans, at this subscriber count on YouTube, I'll be happy. I won't worry anymore. That's never the case. There's immediately as soon as it clicks over, I'm like, well, the next thing I'd like is this, and so it's so bad.
What is all this on today's episode? What does it all teach you then? What does it teach ASMR Maddie?
Oh, to hate myself.
No, not to hate yourself. What does it change you to change about the career you're running, like for happiness wise? Just
to fill my day with things that I would miss if I couldn't do them anymore. To enjoy the process of making things, which genuinely I do enjoy, being creative, setting up a shot, having an idea, seeing it through. But then once I've done my part to make something I'm proud of, just stop watching it, because I do better and then I do worse and then I do better. But there are times when I'll obsessively watch the performance of any given thing, views, likes, whatever it is. How well does the video sell? How well...
Go on with what you were saying. Thank you it's our first cut.
I think you should leave that in. People should know.
No. I will not leave your gas in the...
I'm sorry about your terrible flatulence problem, ma'am, but the world needs to know. I lost it.
Yeah, exactly. You lost it. That's why I told you. Don't stop talking.
I'm sorry Mr. Sight couldn't be with us today, but he's working on an alopecia problem.
All right.
We were just talking about, I wrote down a couple quotes as well related to it, but it's basically like, we think external success is going to fix internal problems, which it never does.
External success. Oh yeah,
that's
what
problems.
we were basically just talking about. Yeah, it doesn't fix. Say you can make $30,000 a year or $1 million a year, and things are going to be easier to do, like buying shoes and stuff. But other than that, you're going to feel the same.
Yes, you are the same person with the same problems, even though it's easier to have something than nothing.
I think there might be a difference whether you work for that money or if you win the money in the lotto, because you win that. I tell you, I'd be the happiest dude in the world if I won the lotto and never had to work again. And I could just give money to people, and like that type of thing. But I think when you start making more money, your responsibilities in life are, whether at your work or whatever, that's what makes you less happy. Does that make sense?
That's a fair point.
If you're busting your butt to make $10 million a year, you're probably working 80 hours a week, you have assistants and people and firing people, and it's like, it's a whole thing. So I think that's where the unhappiness. Now, if I had 200 mil sitting in the bank because I would hit Powerball and I just don't have to do anything but watch it grow and just take people on vacations, and
you might have the stress of people coming asking you for money, trying to rob you.
No,
you give it all away.
I hope
you win the lottery, because you'd be great at being a lottery winner.
Yeah. No, trust me, I'd be good. What did you think about and this kind of ties into some of the stuff that you do, was when they were talking about everybody wants like their first thing to be the big thing.
Oh yes.
When it comes to like content creation or writing or anything like that. And it kind of falls into the like, I'll use people that like either talk about you or comment about you. There's a burp. I should have burped right into the mic. They like something like, oh, I could do better, or I could do this, and like, then do it.
Yeah,
just do
could
it.
If you did.
Yeah, YouTube is free. It's literally free. Like, you just sign it, put your email in, and create an account, and you can start making videos. But yeah, like, people just think that, like, when if a video gets 1 million views, they think that, oh, their video should get 1 million views, or their first video, like right when they start, they're going to get it. Like, no, you have to work at it. Bert and Tom don't have like one of the most famous podcasts out there because they're just two talented comedians, and you put a mic in front of them. That helps. But they also have thousands of hours of podcasts under their belt between being guests or doing their own podcast, to where they learn to be broadcasters. So it's not easy. It's like, you don't just, like, two comedians can't just like throw two mics in front of them and be like, we're going to be top 5 on Apple Podcasts. It just doesn't work that way. The big thing doesn't come right away. Yes.
And the work doesn't slow down remotely. They said, sorry. Yeah.
You want to cut that out too? No. Along with the farts?
They said, I think Ryan Holiday said it, that people think if they get discovered or they get a big break, it's just all going to be downhill from there. They'll be on easy street. But they're like, that's not even the warm up to the work that you're going to have to do. Yeah. You could get discovered, but what do you have to build from that point on to have any type of success?
Yeah. And then
such a good point.
In today's algorithmic world, if you stop, bye-bye. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like, you could have that big hit and then, done. If you don't keep on going, like that, those algorithms, everybody's algorithms, doesn't matter what social media, YouTube or whatever, it wants to see you keep going, keep pumping out. So yeah, that if you're one of the lucky ones where you hit it big really quick, I mean, you got years of work ahead of you, a major hustle and a lot of emotions and ups and downs. So I guess, like, living this stoic lifestyle or practicing stoicism is like good for people that do that type of stuff. It is. He was talking about writing the books and everything like that, and that's the original algorithm. Well, actually, I don't want to say it's original algorithm. It's better than the algorithm, because if you do something good, it's going to be fun. People are going to buy it, talk about it, buy it. There's nothing deciding it of like, is this like he was talking about the New York Times bestseller list? There's like some kind of algorithm, like, so it wasn't like just sheer numbers. It was like numbers and
also diversity
and all this stuff, which I find insane, because then that's a made up list. Yeah. An algorithm is putting a book on the top.
That's exactly what he was saying. You think something's the ultimate measure of success, and then once you get there, you're like, oh, this isn't even a real thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just like, that's, it's kind of crazy that they do it like that.
I liked it. This is going a little bit backwards, but I liked hearing him say there's no such thing as writer's block. If you get there and you don't know what to do, then you haven't put enough work in yet. And I've heard you say versions of that. Like
Yeah.
if you go to write and you don't have anything, that's not writer's block. You just didn't prepare yourself. You haven't read other things. You haven't put notes together, figured out what you want to say.
Could be dementia. Did you ever think of that?
Frontal lobe issue.
I do have. I don't know if, and I'm sure they could diagnose this way of thinking. You know, when I hear something like when he says that, it does make sense. You know,
Yeah.
And I've heard different forms of it. Not nothing to do with writer's block, but when somebody says something like, if you can't get off your couch and run, then this, you know, and it's like 100% this, you know, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Like it's an absolute, right?
Yes.
And so when people talk like absolutes like that, like there's no such thing as writer's block. And me just being the person I'm like, well, how do you know? It's a skeptic. Like, how do you know? How do you know? But then you also look at this guy, Ryan Holiday, and be like, well, he's got his life together. He's pretty successful. So maybe he does know.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just motivational speaking. You know, maybe he just has internalized that and now he thinks that's the case.
Yeah. It could be.
No, you're totally right. I just read something I think yesterday that was like, it only takes 5 seconds to override your brain and change your goals. And it was like people that want to wake up early in the morning. Just when the alarm goes off, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you've already overridden your brain.
All right.
Then you're up for the day. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I could go back to sleep at 6 seconds still. My brain is wired different. You go back to
sleep during a hurricane.
I've been up for like an hour, done things, you know, like taking care of our children, driven them to school. I could still go back to sleep after.
Once I'm up, I'm up. There was a funny TikTok. There was a guy that was on a podcast and he was talking about, I don't know why this is, why people think you have to have 24 hours in a day. That's a made up thing. My day's 8 hours. So I'm on, after 8 hours, I'm on day 2. I've already accomplished everything. And he's a big buff guy. And he's just making shit up. You know what I mean?
Like, but he has an audience that's watching him that's like, I'm on day 2 now.
Yeah. Well, somebody clipped it. What do they call it? Stitched it. It was like a TikTok. And then the guy was just like, oh yeah? Well, my days are only 1 hour long. So after you ended your first day, I'm on day 9. Just going, but it just kind of showed the absurdity of like people.
What about 6-minute abs?
Yeah. I was like, no, I think 24 hours a day. I think that's a real thing because it has to do with the rotation of the earth, and that's what they decided. You know, like I don't know.
They didn't come to that like lightly.
Yeah,
they did some studying, investigation.
Towards the end of the episode, Tom was talking about unfollowing Instagram accounts. Do you like doing that? I am too. I just asked you a question and I'm answering it. Am I pulling a Bert?
Go right ahead, Bert.
No, I'm too into how other people feel. So if I wouldn't want anybody to see that I unfollowed them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it seemed powerful when Tom was doing it. It's like,
yeah, it did. It really had a ring to it, the way he was describing it. No, because I don't know, man. I couldn't unfollow someone that I know personally.
What about somebody you don't? Like you follow ASMR girls that you've never met before. Yeah. Like, and you just say that just their content came up on your thing, and would you ever just be like, just unfollow?
I wouldn't, because I would worry that all of a sudden they'd be like, oh man, like
you think you made somebody feel bad.
And I'm sure they don't care, but I would rather inconvenience myself than ever hurt someone.
Which is exact opposite of
exactly what I've done. Yeah. Obviously I've learned nothing from this podcast. I really liked the daily
stomach.
The daily stomach grumble. I really liked the Daily Stoics content, and I don't follow a lot of, I guess I don't follow any philosophy pages really at all. It's
because you're not cultured like me.
No. I mean, that's for darn sure. I'm just so involved in my own content, which is so different, that I follow pages related to mine, or like save posts that I want to imitate or that gave me an idea.
Yeah.
And I don't follow things that are inspirational or exciting to me like I used to. And I missed that aspect. So it did make me want to get some more positivity, some more stoicism in my feed.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Very positive. Cool. All right. Was there anything else on this episode that we missed?
No, I don't think so.
What do you think next episode is? Bert and Tom, or I'm trying to like figure out their schedules, because I know these are a little bit delayed. So like this must be when Bert was in Europe, right?
I would think, yeah, it had to
when
have
he started.
been.
So I'm thinking next episode is probably going to be Tom and somebody else.
Yes.
Right.
And then me, and then hopefully back to a Bert and Tom. I'll ask you maybe one more question to bring it home.
Yeah.
They said, I think this was a Stoic bit of wisdom, or I don't know if Ryan Holiday had come up with this on his own, but I thought it was from Stoicism. Any pleasure that has a hangover is not a pleasure. Agree or disagree, or agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. No, that makes sense. I get it, because why, something that's bringing you pleasure at 11 o'clock one night, but 8 in the morning, it's just going to make you miserable. It kind of just cancels it out, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't cancel it out at the time. I don't know. It's a very deep way of thinking that sometimes I don't think like most people's brains can handle, including mine. But yeah, we've talked about it on another podcast, that I'm trying to drink less, and it does make me a little bit more like moody, like I'm missing something. Does that make sense? Like I'd love to have a drink right now. You're having a glass of wine, but I'm like, I'm going to bed soon, so I had a decaf coffee.
Oh, it's up pretty early, so I don't know.
It's discipline. That's why I'm burping so much. I drank LaCroix. I agree with what he's saying, but am I going to practice it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you sometimes don't drink wine because it makes you.
I mostly won't drink. Today was a really long day, and we're filming. It's a little after midnight for us, so I'm like, I think 11 o'clock at night. I think I'm gonna have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Kind of perk myself up, which isn't the best. But I was fascinated when he said, I thought that was an interesting point, that yes, a lot of people know but don't put into practice. But I thought it was amazing when he said our minds trick us to keep us doing things, and there's an evolutionary reason for that.
Or else everybody would just sit around and do nothing.
Exactly. No one would build bridges. No one would go out and have sex.
Yeah.
Our mind tells us
more sex.
Our mind tells us it would be a good idea to have this shot and go talk to this girl. It would be a good idea to push myself to get another championship ring. But no, it's not going to make anyone happier.
Man, the human mind is crazy.
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff.
Cool. Well, that was that was a good Two Bears episode. I liked it, and I'm curious. I'm gonna check. Actually, you know what? I can check right now. What the
maybe it's out of their control. So
I know, but it's not out of my control. I can know about their numbers.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't really matter to me, but I just am curious of like something like this, like how the Two Bears, YMH, Bert Kreischer fans react to like something like this. And I think it's a little less than so 2 weeks ago Adriana Chechik is at 1.3 million views. I get it, porn star on there and stuff like that. But I don't like judging views is not a good way to judge the content. Like I said, both those episodes were great. They're just different, and an algorithm could could affect, you know, views and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just thought this one was really, really good.
I thought so too.
Yeah. I could see the smile on your face when you were like, when I came over, you're like, I can't wait to talk about it. I loved it.
We were texting about it. I was fascinated. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll keep thinking about it.
All right. Well, good episode.
Yeah.
Another episode of Talking Bears. We got swag in the beginning.
Oh no.
I know. Maybe we'll roll the dice again. Put the link, if it's still there, we'll put it in the description of this video if anybody else goes to their store.
Yeah,
there's no ties to the store. It's just kind of cool.
I know. We were just psyched about it. Yeah. I guess they're clearing out for new merch, so
yeah.
Hopefully you can still roll the dice.
Cool. We just cleared out of the CBD caramels today. We're sold out. We have to
CumberlandCandies.com. We had to throw up a sold out sticker on there.
Yeah, I don't know
they're
if that went
too
up,
delicious.
Yeah, it's
I've been looking
use
for
code
my
Maddie
box
too.
cover. And there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Right
Use
there.
code Maddie.
Yeah,
just
code
sold out
Maddie.
today. There will be more soon.
Yep.
Being made as we speak.
The Delta 8 caramels are in stock, as are the cookies, and they are delicious.
Oh, the cookies are so good.
Yeah, like dangerously good.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, let's get to bed.
Thanks for watching, guys.
You let them in on the secret. It's past midnight here.
It's late. I know mistakes have been made in terms of when one of us has to get up for school tomorrow.
Let's roll the dice on
Remains to be seen. I'd like to
die.
roll the dice.
All right, cool.
All right.
Good episode.
Thanks for watching Talking Bears.
All right.
See you soon.
Aren't you going to mumble the song that you tried to do last time?
Mr. Psych and Maddie, Mr. Psych.
One goes topless, and it's not him.
And it's
all right. Bye.
And you wish it were a bear. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.